Hi guys! This is the very first episode of my podcast. Because you know what? I heard that there weren't enough podcasts. And everyone really wants to hear half an hour to 40-minute musings from a white woman. I fear I'm going to regret wearing these shorts and sitting down. But hey, that's just on me and my body dysmorphia. I've wanted to start a podcast for years, and guys, I recently got diagnosed with ADHD, which I imagine was similar to if you ever had to tell the Pope he's a priest. You know what I mean? Like my assessment, I sat down, it was like 5 hours long, and I sat down with my gorgy psychotherapist. I think that's what she was, and I think that's who that woman was. She and we spoke, and at the end she was like, "So for sure, actually for sure," and I've started medication, and maybe that's the reason I'm actually finally getting around to it. Like, who's to say? I don't know. I've always wanted to start a podcast. I had big plans to start one with my best friend, but and we had actually recorded a few episodes. But then she decided to go and do her master's degree. Ew. And she's out there like helping people. Like, again, ew. And I'm here. This podcast is called I Have No Idea What I'm Doing. Because, guys, I have no idea what I'm doing with this podcast, but also in a much realer sense, my life. So I just thought I would talk about it for a while and record it and post it online. So here we go. This episode is called 30, Flirty, and Thriving? No. So for anyone who doesn't know who I am, I'm just going to do like a little introduction. My name is Alice, which means noble in German. And my last name is Maloney, which means servant of the church in Irish. So my parents really hit the nail on the head when they named me, because they were like, she will be a noble servant of the church. And that is what I continue to be today. No, guys, I'm joking. But I did used to be an altar server. Very holy of me. Loved being an altar server. For anyone that didn't go to like Catholic school or like Irish Catholic school specifically, I don't know what they do in other ones. It was like a huge honor to be an altar server. And anyone who doesn't know what an altar server is, it's just like you kind of help the priest out. Children helping the priest out. Like, what, guys? No, that shouldn't be allowed anymore. I used to do Friday night mass, which was the craziest. All the crazy bitches came out on the Friday night mass. And there was like you'd have to wait for your cue. Like the priest would say something and you'd have to ring your bell and you'd have to do it 3 times. And guys, every time it was a thrill. And also I got to like go like backstage in the church, which was just like the room where the priest got dressed. Again, somewhere where children shouldn't have access to. What was I even talking about? Like, this will be the problem and I should make notes. I am 3 and 1 years old. I really think we should bring that back, like in Jane Austen books when they're like, I'm 7 and 20, or like what if I was like, well, I'm 30 and 1. I'm not going to do that, but it would be fun if I did. But I'm 31. I turned 31 in February 24th. Yes, I'm a Pisces. Guys, I'm a Pisces sun, Capricorn moon, Capricorn rising, and Pisces midheaven. She said, keep it consistent. So I don't know what any of that actually means. I think it means like, I'm a career woman who cries a lot. That seems to be kind of the vibe that I give off. But I moved over to London to try and achieve my dreams. I did. I moved over because I wanted to be an actor. LOL. And I got over here and I realized that I didn't know how to do that. So I didn't. And then I was working in theatre administration for a while, and that was literally hell on earth. I hated it so much. Like, it's important for you guys to know as well that, like, I'm not dramatic. Like, it was actually terrible. No, I'm joking. It wasn't the worst thing ever. But I do think that people, like, some people do have harder lives, and maybe I'm one of them. Long story short, I got fired. No, guys, it was actually terrible. Oh my God, I would love to tell the story on here, but like, I'm afraid of getting sued. Not that they have, like, with what money would they sue me with? Yeah, anyway, would love to take them down in every way possible. I wish I was bigger than wanting to seek revenge, but I would love to seek revenge. So I've always loved comedy. I've always, like, loved improv comedy, and I've always wanted to be a comedic actress, because everything inside me hurts so much that I feel the need to bring joy to the world. No, guys, I'm joking. I actually just love attention so much, and I love when people laugh. That's the best attention. When the room laughs with you, not at you. Because of my ADHD diagnosis, like, I've been thinking, I was waiting for a long time to get it, and so I obviously thought I had ADHD for a long time, and I realized that was like the reason I couldn't work in like a typical office job, right? And like, everyone used to, like, I say everyone, my parents would be like, oh, Alice, you're just lazy. No, but I actually would go there, and like, I can't describe it. Like, this is what a typical working day in an office feels like to me. It's like, I get in there in the morning, I like make my little coffee, I'm like, gorge, I'm having such a good time, I'm saying hey to all the girlies, I'm sitting down, I always eat breakfast at my table, my desk, and like, I have my little yogurt and like a piece of fruit, and I'm like, okay, you know, let's get this, guys, let's get this office going, let's get some work done, right? And then for like the first 2 hours, I'm like tippy top, and like, everything's so fine. And then we hit 12, and I start to go, I don't know if I'm enjoying this anymore, but like, it's fine, and like, it's work, and no one enjoys work, right? We go for lunch, that's grand. I come back, and from about 2 p.m. to 6 p.m, it feels like my skin wants to peel off. It feels like I feel like my skin is on fire. I cannot describe it unless you've gone through it. It's like I'm in physical pain sitting there, and rather than being like, hey, this is going to be over in 4 hours, like, just hold it together, babe, it's like, no, hey, why am I doing this? Why am I here? I'm going to be here till I'm 60 years old. Like, why don't I just end it now? Because this can't go on. And like, that's like a typical Monday for me. So it clearly wasn't working, right? I have worked in approximately 5 offices. Wait, let me count. Yeah, I'm on my like 5th office right now, and I've been let go out of 3 of those jobs, guys. Those statistics aren't good. And like, I am a mature woman, and like the common denominator is me, right? Except for the place I was talking about at the start. That place can like actually like bend over, open its fucking hole, and like, I would love to punch it, right? So yeah, I've been fired like 3 times, and I did start to be like, this, I am the problem. Like, I'm not like, listen, I'm stupid in lots of ways, but like, I'm not like, you know, like, I when you're sitting in a room and there's an apple there, like, I can see it. Like, I don't think that's a saying, but maybe it should be. Basically, what I'm saying is, I understood that I wasn't compatible with the office environment. What is happening at the moment is I'm working part-time. I'm so sorry. In an office. I won't tell you where, obviously. But I'm also now getting paid to make content, which is so bonkers bananas crazy. What is my life? And I feel so incredibly lucky to have this be a possibility for me. I'm very serious about wanting to make this my full-time job, because I don't think I can do, like, it's becoming very evident to me that I can't do anything else. Because, guys, again, like, the skin wanting to be peeled off, like, that's not really sustainable, and I know that, and I hope that you know that. Being in your 30s is, like, really, it's really stressful, especially as a woman, and I don't mean that in terms of, like, the everyday of it. In fact, I've really loved being in my 30s, like, genuinely, for real. It's been, like, the best 2 years of my life, kind of. Has it? No, let's be so honest, Alice, has it? You've had so many mental breakdowns these last 2 years. Like, if I had to stick at something, if like, if like a genie came down today and was like, came down from I don't know where, like the north, and was like, hey babes, like, what's a northern accent? Do you think I could do one? Do you think I should try do one? Okay. Like, was that like Manchester, right? Like, hiya love. What can I do for you? No, and I know that was bad, okay? Anyway, the genie comes down and is like, if you could be any age forever, what would you be? Like, I think I probably would choose 30. Yeah. I'm in my 30s now. I'm married. I want to have children. But like, do I? I do. I really do. But I saw this TikTok the other day where it was like midwifery school, and they were showing like that they inject your like fanny lip. I don't know, like, I just don't know if I feel ready to get my fanny lips injected. Do you think there's ever going to be a time where, like, there's plastic surgery on your vagina? Like, there surely probably already is plastic surgery on the vagina. But, like, what would you want it to be? Tighter? No. Like, skinnier? Like, people have, like, would you want, like, a... Guys, I just realised my fucking dogs are out and I was meant to put socks on. Because, like, you're not getting that for free. Yeah, anyway, back to vaginal plastic surgery. Like, surely. Because I was looking at my own vagina today, and I was like, they're all different shapes and sizes, and like, without giving too much information about my vagina to you guys, like, I can only, like, I kind of, like, it, when you're looking at it straight on, like, it kind of, like, has, like, a mustache. No, that's not, like, no, it doesn't have, God, like, my vagina doesn't have a mustache. Like, that's not what I mean. But it, like, kind of does. And, like, I can't describe it in any other way. But no, there's definitely ways that I could describe it better, because that's not real. Like, it doesn't have a... I wonder, I have an innie, okay? Because you asked. And just for my Audi queens, like, can you, like, does it rub off your knickers? And is it nice? And do you like it? And, like, not that I'd ever go commando, really, because I just wouldn't see the appeal, really, myself, personally. Like, I like an underwear. But, like, if you were to go commando in just jeans, would you get, like, some sort of rash on the vulva? Do you know what I realised the other day is, like, I would, like, be the first person to give out to a man and be like, what the fuck, if they didn't know, if they couldn't label a vagina, because I don't think I would be able to. I don't think I would be able to. So maybe I should learn that. Your 30s are great because you start to, like, and everyone always says this, but you kind of actually start to, like, get to know who you are properly without, like, oh God, your 20s are hard. Like, they're fun, but, like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? And, like, I spent a lot of my 20s in COVID. Ew. Me in my 20s, I went to college at 18. No, I was 19. I went to college in University College Cork, because that's where I'm from. I'm a Cork girl, Cork City for life. No, for reals though, and I know that people make fun of Cork people for loving Cork, but, like, it actually is class. It actually is class. I mean, so class that I wanted to leave. But I will be going back at some stage, I imagine. I went to UCC and I studied drama and theatre studies there, which was lots of fun. And then at the end of college, I was like, what am I doing now? Because I always wanted to go to, like, a really prestigious acting school, like, in London. But my mom was like, okay, but, like, that sounds expensive, queen. And, like, no tea, no shade, mama, but, like, I don't know if you're ready to move to London by yourself. So I really wanted to move to London to, like, act. But again, didn't know how to do that. So instead, I stayed in Cork and I worked in restaurants and I partied hard. I was kind of like a crazy party girl back in the day. Not like super crazy, like, because it's not a competition, first of all, and like people would win if we were having one. But I was like a party girl, loved to party. And I met my partner, my husband now, when I was 23 and he was 22. Oh my God, cradle snatcher. So like we were truly like fetuses in the womb when we met each other. But it was just ironic because when I was 23 and never had a boyfriend, I was like, oh great, I am going to die alone. Like, wouldn't you love to slap that girl? Like, and not if you're like 23 and you're single and you're like, why not, babe? Like, be single and like, I don't know, kiss people. It's fun. OMG, I have to take my antidepressant. Hold on. Great. Yeah, guys, like I'm not taking a lot of drugs, ATM, and like not fun ones, you know. Just trying out new ADHD medication. I say new, the first ever. And the first week of taking ADHD medication, I was taking children's ADHD medication, which my sister kept referring to as baby speed, which is like funny, yes, but also like I would like some sympathy, please. I actually just got a diagnosis, and like no one seemed to care. And again, like I love attention, but it like this is what it felt like. For like a few hours, I would be able to pack my vintage parcels and send them to the post office. And then after that, I'd want to kill myself. So I don't really know if like the payoff versus the saddies that I got was really worth it. Anyway, over in Cork after college, I worked in a lot of restaurants. Up until the last restaurant I worked in, which was maybe 3 years ago, every single restaurant I worked in began with the letter B. What does that mean? Like, everyone, and there was a lot of them, like, there was like 4. I worked in 4 different restaurants, all with names beginning with B. And I just think that's crazy. And then I worked in a restaurant in Dublin, like a cafe restaurant in Dublin, which did not begin with B. It began with H. And I used to call it Notion Palace, because the people that went there had a lot of notions. And the people that worked there took a lot of drugs. And never invited me to take any, which is great because I didn't want to. No, that life, it really doesn't suit me. And how do I know that? Because I tried it, and it's not for me, girls. Okay, let's just leave that there. But the people that worked there were party girls. Like I would start shifts there, and you know my colleague would join and would be like, hey, so I haven't slept in 3 days and I haven't eaten since 10 a.m. yesterday. And I'd be like, okay, great, I had 9 hours of sleep and I ate like 4 meals yesterday and I still feel awful. So like I just don't know how you can do what you're doing. And also, furthermore, I don't know why you're doing what you're doing. I met that particular colleague at a music festival. Like, no, keep it, like, I had worked there for a year and I'd stopped maybe in like May. This festival had to have been in July. I was like, hey, babe. She looks me in the eye and goes, who are you? I was like, that's actually incredible. And then when I had to explain who I was to her, she was like, sorry, you know what I'm like. I'm like, yeah, I do. You take a lot of drugs and it's affecting your brain. Anyway, but I worked in that place in Dublin because I was doing my master's there. Guys, she's a master. My foot's not dirty, I promise. I just think that's the colour of it. Like, and I don't know what that's about. Oh, all this free foot content. I did a master's in graphic design. Oh, people are like, why? And I'm like, I don't know. Babe, I don't know why I did that. It was kind of because I didn't know what the hell I was doing in my life and I thought I needed redirection. And obviously graphic design is my passion. Or so I heard so many people say. So I just thought there must be something in that. It's funny about graphic designers. I went from like my drama and theatre studies degree where like, how do I put this? Like every person in that room was so obsessed with the sound of their own voice that it's like if a question was asked, we'd all be like we were like our opinions were the most important thing, and they weren't, but we thought they were, and that was nice to be in that environment where like you were kind of fighting for attention. And then I went into my graphic design masters, and like trying to get someone to talk there was like trying to get like a pigeon in a bag. Difficult, I imagine. And then the place I worked in during my masters, the place that begins at H, with the drug taking colleagues and the notions flying around the gaff, the owners of that place were so lovely. Like truly some of my favorite bosses I've ever had. They were like real salt of the earth people, but like also obviously had notions because they opened that place. Like, no offense, right? Listen, I have notions, it's fine. It was like, it's like they did coffee and they did food, but it's changed loads now since I've been there, so I don't know what their story is at the moment. But they also did like art exhibitions and like events. I met some of the worst people I've ever met in my life that were patrons of that place. One day we were having a St. Patrick's Day street party, of which 1,000 people arrived. I remember because it was like I started work at 5, let's say, and it was Paddy's Day, so like all of my friends in Dublin were going out. So I was like, I'm going to join you for a pint, and then I'll go over to work. And I thought I was being so cheeky, like having a drink before work. I shouldn't have fucking been worried, girls, because I walked around the corner, and if you've ever worked in hospitality in Ireland, you know St. Patrick's Day is like the worst ever, right? Because like everyone is out. So I was like preparing for myself as I like to see just loads of people. As I turned the corner, I have actually never seen so many people packed into such a small space in my entire life. My blood ran cold. I was like, I can't even be worried about the bartending I'm about to do, because this is just like, there's gonna be 3 of us behind the bar, and there's like 1,000 people on the street. A lot of them were drinking their own cans, so like there wasn't much bartending to be done. Anyway, I got behind the bar. Everyone was so drunk behind the bar, which I was like, okay, well, I feel stupid being worried about my single pint. One of the people that worked there, who was annoying and who also told me that I was too old to have baby Botox. I was 25, and also I didn't ask, and also go away. She was English, so that was her first crime. She turned to me and was like, do you want a drink? I was like, oh, I don't know if we should be drinking. She was like, girl, we're not going to get through this shift unless you drink. Now, I found out later on that they were all doing cocaine, and like, that's great. I'm glad I didn't participate, but like, it would have been nice to be asked. Okay? And I don't know what, I guess they just thought I wasn't cool, because I was not as cool as them. But like, at what cost? Because like, I don't want to be at a music festival and look someone I used to work weekly with for a year and not know who they are. Anyway, I digress. A man comes over to the bar, and we had like pre-made cocktails. Like, we didn't make them, like, they were nice, don't get me wrong, but they were pre-made, and we weren't doing anything fancy schmancy to them because there were so many people. We were just kind of like throwing them into glasses with some ice and eating them over, charging like a tenner, which is actually criminal because these were just in a bottle. Like, anyway, regardless, this man, who was so out of it, an incredibly posh Dublin man, came up to the bar and he was like, I can make the best porn star martini ever. And I was like, great. I can make incredible roast chicken, but like, why are we, like, we're just telling each other things now. And he was like, I want to make a porn star martini. I said, okay, well, you can do that in your own time, but like, what do you want from me? And he was like, no, can I come behind the bar and make a porn star martini? And I'm like, no. First of all, we don't have the ingredients for a porn star martini. We have this pre-made porn star martini that you can have if you want in exchange for money, or you can leave. And then he was like, no, please let me go behind the bar. I was like, no. Why would I do? No. And then he looked at me in the eye and he was like, is it a requirement to go to NCAD to work here? Important note for non-Irish listeners. NCAD is the National College of Art and Design in Dublin. It's where you go if you're good at art and if you like thinking that dressing up as a poor person makes you socially relevant. And I said, I don't go to NCAD. And he went, oh, okay, well, do you have to like roll a cigarette to in your interview to prove that you can work here? I was like, I don't smoke. Then this person next to him in the queue was like, girl, you were just defying stereotypes. And I was like, I know. He was a nightmare all night. There was like semi, and I really, really, really want you to like, a lot of weight is being put into semi here. Semi-famous Irish people were in the bar that night, just ripping up lines in the bathroom. But yes, I left Dublin. I was living there with my then boyfriend, now husband. He was also doing his masters. Oh, we're so educated, and I have no money, so that's great. When we were in Dublin, we really toyed around with the idea of staying in Dublin, but we ultimately, me and my husband, decided to come to London. So we ended up going back home for a little bit, living in my parents' house, which we're incredibly privileged to be allowed to have done. And then we moved to London, and we've been here for 3 years. We lived in the southwest of London first, which I would never do again. It was like that part of I lived in Battersea specifically, which is like such a beautiful place to visit. But as Dylan said, that's my husband, he's like, it was the closest that you could live in Dubai without living in Dubai. It's really that vibe. Our friends would come over and they'd be like, where's your favorite place to, go for a drink? Where's your favorite place to get eat? We'd be like, to get eat? Where's your favorite place to get eat? Me, I'm a pussy. I'm sorry. Me on this bed. No, guys, I'm sorry. Don't think about me having sex on this bed, but I have. When people would ask us like where our favorite pubs or restaurants were, we'd be like, well, we don't have any around here. They're all kind of not good. So we'd always go into central London. But now I live in Hackney, and I do like, I hate to be a stereotype, but I do much prefer it here. It's great. For the first year of being in London, I cried a lot and I drank a lot. Oh, wouldn't that be funny if it wasn't true? And it all together was like a stressful time, but it was ultimately good and a good decision that we made, and like learned a lot about myself in the first year of living here. That is when I started kind of like toying with the idea of making videos. I did it kind of sporadically, and wasn't very structured with it. And actually, funny enough, like, this is kind of random, but I mean, all of this has been random. Day that I decided to start posting on TikTok every day, and what ultimately changed, I guess, my life, but like my content creation career, is that not the Christmas gone, but the Christmas before that, me and Dylan were flying home to Ireland, and flights are like notoriously really hard to get for Christmas, and we had booked them, and that was grand. And we had gone out for a drink the night before in Dawson Superstores, which is like a gorgy a venue, and I love going there for like drag brunch, but like kind of a weird place to go for a quiet pint. There was just like porn being played, just like old porn. Like I was like waiting for him, and I was like sipping on a beer, and I was just watching a man deep throat another man, and it was like beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it was just like, it was a jolly Christmassy vibe. We wake up the next morning, probably a little bit worse for wear, and we're like, oh, when you get so used to doing flights back and forth, especially when they're really like short flights, you don't feel the need to be there 2 hours before, and you should, because things can go wrong so quickly. We arrived to get the train to the airport, and the train wasn't running because someone had gone onto the tracks and stolen copper wire from the tracks. So we had to get on a replacement bus, and we arrived outside the doors of Stansted Airport, and our gate was meant to close in 5 minutes. Like, there was just no, we had to get through security and then we had to get to the gate. Great travel tip. Scream cry at the security man, because he will let you skip the queue. We got to the gate. It's Ryanair. It hadn't even started boarding yet. But I tell you this story because we were queuing for the flight, and I turned to Dylan. Actually, on the way there, I was like, there's 2 things I'm going to do if we catch this flight. First of all, God is real. Second of all, I am going to do dry January, which I did. And third of all, I'm going to post TikTok every day. And then I did. And that kind of brings me to now and to here. I've been posting for, I guess, 3 years now. I said 2 at the start, but 2 like consistently. And I want to just kind of branch out a little bit and do this as well. And I imagine from listening to this, you've gained a lot of knowledge and a lot of insight and a lot of food for thought. See ya. No, I need to have like a sign off. Maybe I'll do this, right? So, this is a saying that my friends say because my bestie Lorna said it to my other bestie Sophie one day when they were heading out to go see Remy Wolf. Yeah, they were on their way out to go see Remy Wolf, but as they were leaving, Sophie turned to Lorna and said, right, do we have everything? And Lorna went, keys, phone, pussy, attitude. And I think that's really important to remember. So, keys, phone, pussy, attitude.